Hi, I'm Mindy Silva, and today I'm going to be talking about what's the buzz. And the buzzword all around WikiTree right now, of course, is the CC7. You see people chatting about it, you see it in our forum, you see it mentioned in the newsletter, and on your profile you have a brand new number that shows the connections. So, what is this CC7 everybody's talking about? Well, that would be your connection count. And of course, on WikiTree, as in out in the real world, we're all connected in some way by blood or marriage. CC7 is the number of connections that you have through blood or marriage within 7 degrees. Now, what is a degree, you ask? Well, that would be a step through the relationship trail. So say I'm going to my mother, then to her sister, my aunt, that would be 2 degrees. And, we're used to, as genealogy nuts, used to looking at our family tree in a direct line. But if you think about the real world, your aunts and uncles are in your life, or hopefully are, if you have them. You have cousins, you may have grandparents, or even grandparent siblings that are around you, and not just your parents. So all of these people help form who you are and how you view relationships. And the way that we can increase that on WikiTree is to fill out those families and go sideways just a little bit if we need to, and start adding in additional children, add in the sibling spouses, add in different people. And the more you connect, the more likely you're going to make those new cousin connections, or you may even find that a current connection has suddenly gotten shorter because you filled out your branches a little bit more. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how you would calculate that. You may have a small number, you may have a large number. Don't worry too much. It's just a fun way to see your progress and see how you're doing. And where will you find that number? Well, let's go ahead and take a look on my profile. And here you can see I have my contribution count as usual. I have my thank yous. And now I have this brand new number of connections. I currently have 1,339 connections. So those are people that are connected to me through blood or marriage. And let's see what happens when we go ahead and click on that. Here you'll see your connections to the varying degrees. Now, as you can see here, the sections are broken out into a degree. So my count is 1,339, and I can see first degree, how many people are in the second degree. And that is everybody. Once again, that's 2 steps away from me through blood or marriage. So grandparents, aunts, and as you scroll down, you'll see the count go higher. Now I want to talk a little bit about extensions. And what is the difference, you ask, between an extension and an app? Well, an app would be a set page that you go to where you can input, say, a wiki ID and get certain information out of it. But each time you want to do this, you'll need to go back to that same web page to use that feature or that function. An extension is something that's added to your browser so that it is automatically incorporated into what you are doing. And speaking of extensions, in 2022, we had an incredible new extension created for us by our volunteer programmers that like to give us these free extensions and apps for WikiTree. During Hacktoberfest, they got together and took some of the best parts of a lot of our other extensions, and they rolled it into one new extension called the WikiTree extension. Now, this is currently available for Chrome and Firefox. Hopefully, we'll have a Safari version soon. And let's go ahead and take a look at what that does. So go ahead and install it for your particular browser. I'm using Chrome. And then once you have, you don't need to click on a B or look for a special button. You just need to go ahead and go back to that My Connections page. Now when you look at the My Connections page, you'll have these 2 new buttons. You have Missing Connections and you have a Table button. And that will be for each section that you have. So say you're working on your CC7. You can go to your 4th degree and click on Missing Connections. Now keep in mind, you can go out to 7 to increase your CC7. So anybody in this 4th degree list, you can go 3 more steps from. So you can add their siblings, you can add their siblings' spouses, you can add the spouse's siblings, and that's going to take you out a few more degrees. You can also go to a child, add their spouse, and add their children. In this way, that will take you out to 6 degrees. So you can go one more step and possibly add siblings or parents for those new profiles. Now another way to do it is to go ahead and look at the tree in a table form, which I like. And you get the pretty little wiggly tree that says it's working on it. It does take a minute. But once it fills out, you'll now see a chart with a lot of information. So for each of those people that were listed in your 4th degree, you can now see if they're missing any connections. And here I'm clicking on Harriet, and you can see that she has her parents, her siblings, her spouse, and a number of children. So that's not somebody that I necessarily need to work on right now. Scroll down further and look at Gracie May. And with her, you can look at the birth and death date. Now, she was born in 1878, died in 1954, so if she is not showing spouses or children, that would be a good one to work on. This also allows you to look for those ancestors that may not have been living for very long. Once again on this one, I'm going to take a look, and there is a spouse and 2 children listed. In this case, there may be more children that I can add to that person. So I can go ahead and click, open in a new tab, and it takes a look at Catherine. And I can see that there is her spouse, and she only has the 2 children listed. So I can research that further if I would like and find those additional children. Now here is Archie. He has parents and siblings, and you can see that he has no spouse or children. But he did live to be 78 years old. So there's a good chance that he did have a spouse or more than one spouse and children that you can add that will increase your CC7. Once again, if you go out to the 4th degree, you can go 3 more steps from any of those profiles. Here you see that at the bottom of the list, there are still names that I have not added parents to. So there are blue dots for the missing fathers, pink dots for the missing mothers, and those are definitely profiles I would want to look at. So now I'm going to go ahead and go to the 5th degree. And here still you can open any one of these names and you can go 2 more steps to increase your CC7. So you can look for a spouse, and then you can add the spouse's parents or the spouse's siblings. And that would be 2 more steps and be within your 7th degree. You notice the list is a lot longer for these additional degrees. There are far more possible ancestors and relatives to work on at this level. I'm going to go ahead now and show you one of the other apps. Now this one is an app, and remember that this means it's a feature that you have to go to this site every time to use, but it can be very helpful, and this one's called Find Missing Links. Now here you can either start with your Wiki ID or you can start with somebody else's Wiki ID, and you can tell it how many steps you would like to go. So this is my Wiki ID. I'm going to go 5 steps from that, and then I'm going to hit Submit. And this shows me the names. It also gives the birth dates, and it tells me, do they have a father added? Do they have a mother added? And you can check each one of those to see who it is that's missing something. Now if you click on the surname there, that will take you to the wonderful WikiTree feature that shows you all of the Henniger genealogists and activity. But we're going to go ahead and just open up that particular profile. And so that would be the link on the right. This one's another application you can use, and it's called Missing Parents. Here, I'm going to put in Jennifer Lopez's Wiki ID. Once again, you can start with your Wiki ID, or you can start with somebody else's. And here too, we have blue for missing fathers, we have pink for missing mothers, and we have purple if they are missing both relationships. If they are possibly missing a spouse, you'll see the couple symbol. And if there's a question mark, they may have children. This kind of gives you a visual way to go down and see, wow, I need to add parents for all of those people. So once again, I can click, open the profile in a new tab, and we're going to take a look at Jose. Now, Jose has his parents. He has several siblings, but you can see that he does not have a spouse or any children. He lived to the age of 40, so there's a good chance that there are relationships there that can be added. You can also click on the house on this one, and just like with the WikiBee feature, you can see that there are parents and many siblings added to that person. Yet there is no spouse and no children. So once again, that's a really easy way for you to see which person is going to give you a lot of profiles to add. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and look at Greg Clark's amazing app. I use this all the time, the 6-degree chart. And you can actually go out to 7 degrees to match what you can do on WikiTree. So you can either go with your Wiki ID or you can add someone else's. But I'm going to go ahead and say mine, and I'm going to increase it to 7. And it shows you connecting, working on degree 5. Thank you for your patience. He's very polite. It's a very polite app. And now I'm out to 7 degrees, and you can see the amount of connections I have on there. And of course, you can display this with just the dots. You can change it so it shows a letter. And there it is with the first letter of their name. There it is with their initials. And there it is with their full first name. And of course, the chart gets pretty big at that rate, but you know, you can scroll up and down and you can still see it. And if you click on one of those circles, it will open up a little chart on the left to show their relationship to you, as well as give you a link to the profile, so you can click on that profile and add it, knowing that any person that you add to that profile is going to give you that additional step that you need to reach the 7th degree. Of course, there are a lot of other features to the 6-degree app, but that's all saved for another day. Today we're just looking at how we can extend our CC7 relationships. And here we see Maria. She has parents, she has 2 siblings, and no spouse or children. She died about the age of 22, so she may not have children, but she would most likely have a spouse at that time. So it's worth doing the research to find out. And that's it. I'd like to thank you for joining me in learning a little bit about the CC7 and how we can make that connection count go higher. And I hope you guys get out there whatever way you choose to add them. Just have a lot of fun with it. And I'll see you around the branches. Bye.